So Rachel told me this morning she was out doing chores and our meat chickens in their chicken tractor. There was 2 of them not in the chicken tractor. She said part of the chicken wires come off on the side and they kind of jumped out and then couldn't figure out how to get back in. Got our staple gun this morning, some zip ties, cutter. Let's go see what's going on. Yeah, I think the wind might have... We had a pretty bad storm come through here last night. That's why I got this big piece of iron on the chicken tractor to make sure the wind last night didn't blow this thing. And I think the wind caught this enough that it just kind of pulled this back. We'll just remove this zip tie and get everything stapled back and then zip tie it back and we should be good. Some of the staples are definitely starting to show their age. We built this thing, what, 3 years ago, I think? So I think maybe the end of the season this year, after we harvest this batch, probably be a good time to go through and check all the seams and all the staples and make sure everything's good for next year. It doesn't take too long to go through and put some more staples in things. Little chickens are doing good. They're getting big fast. Got all their new feathers, real feathers. Haven't lost the one. And Rachel counted them the other day. I think she ordered 20. We actually have like 22 or 23. I think most hatcheries will send you extras just in case you lose some in the mail. I think we have food.
I do. Come here, Piggy. It's old crabapple jelly, and I want to try to get them. Oh, you're scared of the metal spoon? Come here. Sometimes they act blind. Right here. Right here.
The little pallet that our waterer sits on is not going to make it much longer unless we do something about this. Maybe this ain't going to work.
You want me to take it off?
Better than it was.
Yeah, so I was trying to tell you guys that I have not done a good job at all trying to get these girls trained to this nipple water. And we're leaving out of town in a couple weekends, and I'd really like to get them used to the nipple water so our farm sitter doesn't have to check midday to make sure that they're still good with their water. So I'm going to do a couple tricks. This is what I did last time with my last pigs. I just put jelly and stuff here. There you go, right here. And just peanut butter, anything like that, just to get them to want to suck on it and realize water comes out of there too. So we'll see if I can't spend the next few days training them to it.
So our new setup that we were using for our fencing this year with these fiberglass poles with the poly wire around the bottom, it's been working out quite well. It's quite surprising how easy it is for me to clean the weeds and stuff from around it. Last time I did it, I just used a weed whacker, and you can weed whack in here from the other side, and it's flexible enough because it's not super tight that I can basically weed whack the whole thing pretty darn easy. Today I'm going to try it a little bit different. I'm going to try using my push mower first, and then I'll just come back through with the weed whacker afterwards and touch all that up. pretty easy, especially using the push mower. Weed whacker works great, but to do a lot just like vibrates the crap out of my hands. So any shortcuts are good.
It's going a lot better for you, huh?
Yeah, a lot better.
So I guess one other update I'll give you is I doubt you did, but we did an Instagram live out here with the pigs a couple weeks ago, and I was saying how all pigs root, and I got those Idaho pasture pigs because supposedly they don't root, they eat grass. Well, since then, they have not done any more rooting. This is the only place, and I told you guys at the time I was kicking back in the dirt, just trying to maintain an area of fun for them. And even grass is growing back already. So I'm watching them and observing them, getting more and more used to grazing on the grass. So that's been really good.
Yeah, when I was walking around back there, they're definitely starting to trample down and eat portions of it. It's getting thinner and thinner in through there. And then they love just bare dirt to lay in. They'll find little tiny spots and they'll just lay side by side when it's hot or off in the shade.
But we still need to get a butcher appointment. We don't have one of those yet.
Oh yeah.
My green stalk garden planters look amazing. Look at my cucumber. I think, or it might be a squash. I don't know, I can't tell. But regardless of what it is, I think it's a cucumber. I planted over here. It's getting ready to trellis. I went ahead and let my bok choy go to seed for the pollinators. Dill, I'm figuring out what everything is. These guys are my bachelor's buttons, and I have them growing out in the garden too, and they're not even half this tall. So the bachelor's buttons love this, and look at my chamomile. Oh my gosh. Dill loves it. I have a melon down here growing. As soon as it gets bigger, I'll try to trellis it. Let me take you over to the other one though. Oh, and if you're new here, we are affiliates with Greenstalk, and you get, what is it, honey, 10% off or something like that?
$10, I think.
$10 off your order of a Greenstalk garden planter. And I wanted to try, because I didn't save space in my garden anywhere, growing melons and pumpkins up here. And the melons are doing amazing. So this one, look at him. What my plan is to, as he continues to grow, to trellis him on this fence. So I have a melon here, something here. You guys know me and my non-tagging. I don't know what it is. But then I have these two beautiful ones down here. So I'm just gonna keep working them through the trellis and get them to grow big and strong in here. But I've been harvesting and harvesting all of my herbs. Probably the next video I do for you guys is I'm going to be planning Christmas gifts right now and walking around the property and harvesting a whole bunch of things to make homemade teas with. And we have plenty on the property to make a whole bunch of different varieties of herbal tea blends. So stick around for that, that'll be fun. Another melon up here, another one over here, one over here. I just plugged melons in everywhere. Oh, come back over here, let me show them. Let me see. So I did throw in some beet seeds. So here's a melon here and some beets. But I plugged in some beets and they're all coming up good. And you guys, if you caught my last garden video, my beets that I planted out there fried. So this is helping. I think that continuous nice watering it gets. But I might want to get like 2 more of these next year because they are so fun to have. And honestly, I water even in the hottest of hot, like every other day, if that. And everything's loving it. So it'll be fun to see what, if anything, reseeds itself. So I'm having fun with them.
I don't remember exactly when we planted these pine trees. Sometime last summer, fact, I know we did a video on planting these, but I don't know if I can find it. They were a wedding gift. They came in a small little tube. They were about this tall, little tiny saplings, and we planted them. They're doing great. They survived the winter just fine in these pots. And I think this fall, I think they're finally big enough. We're gonna take them either on the side of our property over here or out back where some of the other pine trees are that we planted. And this little guy right down here is elderberry. There was where I transplanted some of my currants when we cleaned out our food forest. I had found an elderberry tree growing there, and it was probably about this tall. And I was able to pull up most of it by the root, and I just stuck it in some dirt, threw a lot of leaf mulch on top, and started watering it. Well, the entire stalk died. We had to cut that off. And I was about ready to throw the thing in the compost bin, and about 2 weeks later, Rachel came and told me it's growing. So we're gonna have another elderberry to put somewhere. And Rachel's green stalks, which are here and here, she must have lost a seed along the way because there's dill growing here right out of our rocks. Funny. But we'll just leave it and harvest. So I have to dig back through some videos to figure out how long it's been since I did a bee video for you guys and an update on things. At least 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And as you can see, things look a little different. I built some new hive stands back here using cinder blocks and treated 4x4s. And I've started by moving 2 of my 5 hives onto them. And now I'm conflicted and I'm torn whether or not I want to keep them. I'm just nervous and scared. Some parts of it I had to raise the ground up really high to make things level. And a lot of this area does flood in the early spring and over the winter. And I don't want the flooding to come in and loosen the soil. And then I lose all 5 of my hives because they fall over. So I don't know if they're gonna stay. If they are gonna stay, I'll eventually move all the hives onto them. If they're not, then I'll tell you guys what I do in the meantime. But 5 hives, yes. I think last time I saw you we had 4 because this one was a swarm that we caught. There's a 5th one over there now, which is a 5/5 nuke box that we did from a split, which was 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Rachel came out here with me and helped me. We did a full inspection of every single hive. We found some capped queen cells in one of them, and we pulled them, we threw them in a nuke box, and they seem to be doing really good. Our purpose here today is I want to feed. I want to feed this swarm and the nuke box. I've been feeding them every day. I took it off yesterday because the storms were going to come through last night, so I didn't want to get water in the hive, so to be safe I took that off. So we're going to feed them, and then if we can stand the heat, because Rachel's already suited up, although I'm not, we're going to go through that 5/5 and see if we can find that queen cell that was in there, see if it hatched, and if it did hatch, see if we have eggs, larvae, and if we can find a queen in there.
So if Todd's gonna keep wanting me to help, I'm gonna have to get a proper bee suit because these old Carhartt, whatever they are, Dickies, oh my gosh, they don't breathe and I am sweltering.
It's like a size extra large too. It's what I used to work on cars in the garage. You don't suit up all the way yet because we don't need to suit up until we go through the hive.
Okay.
Just the feeding part we can. So I've been feeding 1-to-1 sugar water. And the only thing that I've been feeding, like I said, was that swarm colony and the nuke. And I'm doing basically contained feeding so that the other hives that have supers on them can't go and steal all of this and store it and pretend it's honey. If you have one of these little blue feeders and you go to refill it and all the bees go right down in there, Don't put the feeder on until you get rid of them bees. I did that the other day, and anybody who was in there didn't survive.
Ooh, hungry bees.
Yeah, they're strong.
Ooh, they look good.
Yeah. Yeah, they look real good. So when we loaded up this nuke, we put this frame and this frame, and the top were blank. They were completely undrawn. The rest was brood and resources. And this is nice. They're starting to draw this out. And on that side, they're not really doing anything yet. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, the ones we put on the top were mostly resources and some brood. Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah, they're packing that full of food. I keep feeding them syrup, and they keep taking it. So as long as they're taking it, I'll keep giving it to them. I want to get this hive strong enough before winter.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is a very, very sticky hive. I did not spend a lot of time going through the frames on the top here looking for the queen, because it was almost all food, and you hardly ever will find a queen on a honey frame like that. So the capped queen cell that we put in here was on that middle frame originally.
Oh, there's some more. Oh, geez. Gosh, they're crazy. They're empty, though.
That queen cell's empty?
Yeah.
This would have been one of the empty frames we put in. Some interesting little cells there.
Huh?
I'll have to take it in the sun. So there's our queen cell that we found, which is empty now, which is good.
I don't remember what I saw. I think it was just those white, like, things, but I don't think it is now. Maybe she's off getting on a date.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that. So we're not finding any eggs, we're not finding any larvae. There's no capped queen cells anywhere, so it's been 2 weeks, so the chance of them having 3-day-old eggs that they could turn into a queen is 0. So at this point, we either assume that she's out on her mating flight and hasn't returned yet, or she went out on her date and she didn't make it home. But I think we need to check this again in a week.
Okay.
And if there's still nothing, maybe we'll try buying a queen and introducing her. I've never done that before.
Well, we're not the best queen spotters, too. We could just be missing her.
Exactly. But by looking for eggs and larvae.
Yeah.
So there's some capped brood in here, but I think it's old.
Yeah.
That just hasn't hatched yet from when we did the split. Can you guys hear how loud they are? Way too hot to go through that other hive today. But thank you for helping me again.
I didn't help that much.
This is the second time you came out and helped me. I think you got pollen on you. Second time in a row you helped me a ton.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thanks. I just want honey, so I'll do whatever it takes to get honey. It's very selfish, actually.
Yeah, it is something that I'm actually struggling with a lot this year. With, I want to say, queen excluders, and that I'm trying to use queen excluders as one should, and
well, as a philosophy says, right?
as half of the beekeeping population would say, or 3/4 or however many, I'm not sure. Just having a hard time getting the bees to move up into the super.
We've tried tricks like pouring honey up there. They go up, and I think that they enjoy it, and then they leave.
I know. Like this one behind us, for example, there's still some frames in this second brood chamber that aren't all the way drawn out yet. So maybe that's just why they're not moving up to the top yet.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe we'll get honey this year. If not, main goal is to keep them alive.
Right.
And my garden, they're all up in there doing their thing, pollinating, so I definitely appreciate them for that.
Yeah, they're good bees.
Yep, they are good bees.
See you guys on the next video.
Bye, guys.